Okay, welcome to the last debate of our cycle of electoral debates. This will be about sport. And we have from Bilab Lorenzo Ricciardi and from Astra Daniel Shai. Now, what was the first part to answer in the previous debate? No, the first part to answer. Okay, so now we'll start from Bilab. You know the rules. There are 2 minutes to answer, and then two jollies to be spent in order to have 1 minute more to continue your own answers or to reply to your opponent. Now, the first question is a general question about who you are and why you decide to run for B-Lab and for Astra in your case. So, 2 minutes, and also if you think that you can make the difference if you will be elected in the body in which for which you are running for. But we now listen to Lorenzo.
Hi everyone, I'm Lorenzo Ricciardi, I'm from Mestre, and I'm one of B-Lab Sport Committee candidates. I'm running for this body because I think that sport can be a great tool to create cohesion and a stronger community among the students. I always like to point out my own experience in the United States when I went there to study in high school, and sport, tennis in particular, was really important for me to make friends and meet new people as I played in the high school team over there and also in a local tennis club. So I wanna run for this body because I wanna make as many people as possible be involved in this area of the university, and I personally am not part of any team because I'm glad to know that this university has a high level team in many sports, but I don't think that should be a reason for people not to be involved. So I think that also people who cannot play at this level should be involved. And I'm running for B-Lab because I got in this association since the first weeks of my experience in this university, and I just didn't really see any other option.
Okay, thank you, Lorenzo. Now it's time to listen to Danny.
Perfect, thank you very much. So I'm Danny Shai. I'm an international student, first year BM, so representing Astra with the sports committee, obviously. And as a student athlete myself, you made the point that it probably doesn't matter that you're a student athlete or not. And actually, I would agree with that because sports is very inclusive for all, and it doesn't matter whether you're representing Bocconi. If you're representing the right message, that's still that remains fine. But so what I bring to the table, my USP in that kind of way, is I'm a student athlete myself. So I represent Bocconi for the football team. And what I've heard from other kind of student athletes who I've spoken to, football is, of course, it's the most popular game in the world. So at Bocconi, it's very followed. We even have like an ultras. You may have seen that on Instagram. We have a fan base kind of, and so as a student athlete, I think I provide like an insider's view of the problems with sport at Bocconi. For example, open games. So basketball, I have friends, but it's from people within the student athlete, body who I've spoken to, told me that, for example, the basketball open games. Okay, so this is for people who are looking to play for fun, even outside of the athletics program. There's not enough availability of the open basketball for the demand. So, from an insider's perspective, I think you can see a lot of issues with the Bocconi sport, which you may not be able to see from the outside. And I'm not saying, that's a break, but that's what I bring to the table. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Danny. Now go more in deep with your programs in Build-Up program and in Astro program. There is a lot of space for the mental health and also, of course, for physical health. These two topics can be more implemented in Bocconi. How do you think that it could be possible, and what are the means you want to use in order to make it possible? Now we'll start from Danny because we alternate the answers. So please, Danny, mic is yours.
So perfect. Yeah. So kind of mental health and physical health actually is a topic I'm personally very invested in, and another reason why I chose to come on the faculty for sports for Astra. And I think fundamentally mental health and physical health go hand in hand. I think physical health is the best natural solution to mental health that is out there. Now, things as simple as going to the gym, open games, as I just mentioned, even if you're an athlete yourself, just going out on a Monday, exam session, you're studying all day, you're inside all day, you haven't seen sunlight, and you go out, meet the team, meet people you're playing with, everyone's had a rough day, but when you go play sports, that's when you let go. And I think sports is an amazing release for mental health. Now, Bocconi, we all know how tough it gets sometimes academically, how much pressure is put on us in the exam session. And so stuff like increasing the amount of open games available to allow people who want to play the availability to play. If you want to play, I strongly believe that you should be able to play, and people should be encouraged to play sports, especially in kind of tough exam periods. I think it's super important. And this is one thing that I am 100% promoting, is an increase in kind of physical health to combat an increase in mental health. So, so that's mainly what I'm representing, actually. It's possibly one of my most significant arguments. And essentially things, even like going to the gym, okay, promoting exercise, jogs, something like the uni run, which actually B-Lab presented last year, but that was proposed by Benito, who's now part of Astra, of course. This kind of thing can really build a community and kind of promote physical health alongside promoting mental health.
Okay, thank you, Danny. Now, please, Lorenzo, answer to the question.
Yeah, mental health is really important for us, for B-Lab. We already have one of our members, Benedetta Burston, who's working on this aspect, thanks to her own her own le sue conoscenze
knowledge.
No, cioè delle persone.
Network.
Yes, thank you. Thanks to her network, she's already working on mental health with meetings, like yoga and counsel. And as Danny said, sport and mental health are really related. Sport can be a great mean for stress relief. And also in our program, we talked about organizing meetings for mental health. and also courses for mental coaching and stuff like that. So yeah, our association is really focused on this aspect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I remembered you that if you want to add something, you have two jollies, so 1 minute and 1 minute in order to add some or something or to reply to the opponents. But if you do not say me anything, I straight on about the third question. Third question that is. You in a certain way also named it, but how do you think that sport, and in particular Bocconi Sports Center, is a wonderful structure and a wonderful opportunity for the students and for also Bocconi staff to do physical activity and sport? How do you think that this can be useful in order to implement the integration inside Bocconi community between students, and also how do you think to communicate with Bocconi Sports Center, and what are your ideas of things that can be made inside Bocconi Sports Center? Some ideas, some activities. So let's start from Lorenzo.
Yes, one of our main points is the fact that we really want to improve communication. There are already many initiatives from the sports center that people don't know about. Like Danny mentioned before, open gyms. There are basketball fields and volleyball fields that are available at certain hours during the week. And many people don't know about it. So we want to create a community to give those kind of communications. In our program, we also said that we want to try to lower the fees, which we know it's kind of a hard point, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, of course people know that, but fees were increased just last month. So at least we want to go back to the old fees, and maybe we can reach new agreements for the students.
Thank you, Lorenzo. Now, Danny, it's your turn.
Great, yeah. So, I mean, this is something that has definitely been kind of discussed, and I've actually spoken about this with the other sports representatives for Astra, and definitely there are huge improvements that can be made. For example, you know, the Virgin Active, it's such a big part of the sports centre that communication between Bocconi and the Virgin Active there. Of course, I know that Virgin Active is open to the public, but I'd honestly say, as a member of that gym myself, 70% of those members are Bocconi students, right? So communication, firstly, between Virgin Active and Bocconi. If that even means kind of student discounts or more package deals for Bocconi students who maybe cannot really afford the full package, which is something like £60 a month, the cheapest deal. Of course, very expensive. Sorry, €60. But yeah, like even smaller package deals. For example, maybe a Bocconi student who wants the gym membership but doesn't necessarily want to utilize the sauna or the kind of facilities in that sense. Just wants to use the weight room, for example. Maybe we should talk to Virgin, see if they can offer a cheaper package which just utilizes to the preferences of Bocconi students themselves. Secondly, as I kind of hinted on earlier. You mentioned that there's a lot of kind of open sports in the sports centre that maybe students don't really know about. So firstly, communication of these open events will be made much more kind of wide, open to the community, so everyone knows about the opportunities. And secondly, where there is open games like basketball, for example, where demand exceeds the supply of games, we should definitely as Bocconi students, economics, management, we should definitely facilitate, where demand meets supply, and look for that perfect balance so everyone who wants to play can play.
Okay, and now thank you both. And now we can move to the last question. This is the question about why a student should vote for your list and for your program. Why your program is stronger than the other. What are the main point of strength of your programs, and why which are the points that are a bit that are not that are bad, they are not good of the opponent's program. Let's start from Danny. I remembered you that you have now 2 minutes and eventually 2 jollies to spend. So 2 minutes for Danny.
So, immediately after reading kind of the B-Lab manifesto and the program, regarding sports, the first issue I highlighted was the fact that B-Lab were listing things that they've done in the past. For example, the uni run. Now, when which they ran last year. Now, when I went and asked, I kind of did my own kind of experiment, asked some students around. I want to ask to the audience as well, how many of you heard about the uni run which took place last year? Now, if I get into the sport faculty, first thing I'll do is improve Bocconi sport communications. I think this is a huge problem, and regardless, this is the issue I highlighted with B-Lab. This is not to say that some of your previous endeavours, are exceptional, and definitely sports has come leaps and bounds in the last years. Even my coach in the football team, who was at Bocconi, I think about 10 years ago, said, since even 10 years, Bocconi sports has come a long, long way, and parts that's thanks to B-Lab, of course. But then I can make the argument that Benito, who was the sports representative for B-Lab, of course now he's at Astra, and he's done amazing work. But there's a reason he's moved to Astra. He obviously feels that he can't offer much more to B-Lab, and that'll be something that Benito, I'm sure, has discussed. But the best work, arguably, that B-Lab has done is attributed to Benito, who's now an Astra member. So that's kind of, that would be my argument as to why, what can be improved with the B-Lab manifesto. And I think the Astra points are just more realistic in terms of talking about the future, people, even I have personal points. I think I'd personally just argue that it's more realistic than the B-Lab program.
Okay, thank you, Danny. Now we listen to the answer from B-Lab and from Lorenzo.
Okay, so I'll start answering to Danny's questions. I think that, the run is also one of Astra's point. You have it in your own program. So I don't see why you pointed that out.
Then you have 1 minute if you want to answer.
You'll have a minute.
Okay,
Actually,
after
2 minutes. You have 2 jollies. Also, I want to say that yes, Benito did a good job, but it also was thanks to B-Lab's name. He did it under our name, so I'm not saying that he's not a good representative, but it's not sure that he will do the same work with another list. Also, I want to ask you a question. Why is every sport related point? Why does every sport related point have medium or low importance in your program, because as a university sport committee candidate, I don't see why a whole body is used to for points that you don't really see an importance.
Okay, so I think that Danny wants to reply to what Lorenzo said. So you have 2 jollies. You can spend it whenever you want. Now we start with a minute. And then if you want, you can continue your answer for another minute. Otherwise, you can pass the turn to Lorenzo, and eventually then you can answer for another minute.
Yep.
Okay, so 1 minute for you.
Great. So firstly responding to the uni run. My point was not that uni run should not exist. Of course it should exist, and that's why it's on our manifesto as well. My point was that there was obviously a lack of communication last year, as actually every single student I interviewed or at least posed the question to had told me that they hadn't heard of it. Right, and I'm not disagreeing with the fact. I think the uni run is an absolutely great idea. Could really bring the community together. It's actually a very fun thing to do. Run in a group of friends. Choose to get fit, to train for a few weeks together, then do this run. Even for charity, could raise great money. It's an absolutely brilliant idea, and I think it's such a good idea that my point is that it should be communicated better, which is what I would do if I was a sports representative. And yeah, I'll use my other jolly to. So your other point was that every sports-related thing on the program, on Astra's program, was medium to low importance. Now, the issue here is that not everything can be high importance. So, there's other topics, there's other things that Astra's posing that is arguably more important than some of the sports points we made. For example, promoting a sports kind of night where people get awards. Of course, this is a great idea and this should happen, but this is not to say that other things, like regarding mental health directly, or more important topics such as student well-being, and should not be promoted first. Now, low to medium priority does not mean that it's not priority. It means that it's part of the program, but it's just not the top. It's not saying that we should really put it to the bottom of the pile. Everything on the Astra program is important and is a priority. There's just things and more important topics that should take higher priority.
Thank you, Danny. Now, Lorenzo, you have your 2 last minutes because you have 2 jollies, so you can answer continuously for 2 minutes because Danny has used both his jollies. So 2 minutes for you, Lorenzo.
Okay, so I forgot to say this before, but I strongly agree with you about the communication. That's what I said before. About the charity run, I was just pointing out the fact that you said it was one of the things that we already achieved.
Yeah.
So that's what I was saying. I didn't see why you said that we already achieved it when you...
Precisely as you highlighted on your kind of program, which I believe should be about the future rather than dwelling on kind of achievements in the past. I don't think that's something that people really are looking to see, but my personal opinion.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
It's fine.
These 20 seconds are for you now.
Okay. I think it's fine. I want to say that I was happy to see that we have many points in common between the 2 programs.
Definitely.
That's something that says we can collaborate, maybe. I don't really know. I just want to say where our strongest point, since I have 1 more minute, our strongest point, what we really want to focus on is community, collaboration, cohesion, and you can really see that reading our program. There is a repetition of these words because that's what we want to focus on, as I said, and Yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to Lorenzo Ricciardi. Thank you very much to Danny Shai. This was our last debate. I want to say thank you to everyone because it has been, I think, a good opportunity for us. In particular, let me say something in Italian because I am better in doing it. Volevo ringraziare alla fine di tutti questi dibattiti soprattutto chi ha collaborato all'interno della radio, in particolare tutto questo non sarebbe stato possibile senza Matteo Pozzi che ci sta ascoltando, non so se sta sentendo noi o sta facendo qualcos'altro, però vabbè, lo sentirei in registrazione, che ha curato oltre ad alcuni dibattiti in prima persona anche l'aspetto tecnico, e se la radio sta facendo un grande salto è davvero per merito suo. Inoltre volevo ringraziare Samuele Straccialini per le grafiche dei dibattiti, Edoardo Morresi per aver coordinato la parte social, gli altri due conduttori dei dibattiti oltre me e Matteo che sono stati Mattia Filippo Baglietto e Riccardo Ceccaroni, e grazie ad Astra e Bilab e a USATB che hanno collaborato con noi insomma per organizzare questi dibattiti tra mille difficoltà, ma ce l'abbiamo fatta, è stato commovente, veramente c'è stato purtroppo non siamo riusciti a farli tutti, ma per questioni che non sono dipese da noi, sta di fatto che penso che quello che si sia fatto sia stato veramente una grande cosa, e siamo stati un po' la casa di queste elezioni. A me ha fatto solo che piacere, è stato bello vedere la radio sempre piena di persone e questo è quello che speriamo che accada ancora. Buona fortuna a tutti per le elezioni, noi ci vediamo il 28 perché molto probabilmente faremo una sorta di maratona, ma su questo ragioneremo più avanti. Adesso finalmente ci possiamo riposare un attimino. Buon voto a tutti, in bocca al lupo a tutti i candidati. Grazie.
Grazie a tutti.
Grazie.
Thank you.